1 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yeah. Happy Friday.
I feel like we've been like in a coma, girl. We're gonna wake up.
I don't know what's going on.
I know.
What
Hey, everybody, it's fine. It's time. It's time, Daddy.
It's our time. It's our time. That time. What time is it? It's having fun with J and J. She is Jenny. I'm Jeanette. Hello. And it's the summer, so yeah, I got my bronze on. You know,
look at her. She's like, we were just talking about. Like, I look like I've been like
not in the sun. Maybe when you do your rides, you know that you're doing your work. Maybe you should put the sun down. Just put some sun.
You know what? See, Jeanette's not that old, and I've already got enough sun damage to I used to be a sun baby, and now that I'm in my geriatric years, I'm not kidding.
Really?
But I do go out in the sun. This is the thing about living in Texas.
You're not.
Matt lives in Florida, so it's great weather. I used to live in San Diego, so I was always outside. Everybody thinks that when you live in Texas, you're outside. Heck no, because it's too dang hot. Okay, San Diego is like 78, 82, get a little breeze, you're out there at night, got to wear a little jacket. Florida's kind of the same thing. Texas, okay, we had a rainstorm 2 nights ago. Cars being swept away. Like, it was like Armageddon here. Hail, lightning. We had 3 lightning strikes. We had flooding. I was waiting for Noah to come by and say, hey, I got a mix for you. And then it got hot, and it gets humid, and the hair goes, and you sweat, and so we all stay inside. That's Texas.
But Florida, we've been getting our hurricane. We're in hurricane season now. Starting June, started hurricane season. So every day we get a spit of rain, and this is what me and my husband say is spitting outside, because it just goes for 10 minutes, and that's it.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm like, but then afterwards, forget it. But yesterday was one of those, it stayed for 20 minutes, and it was like, and we were like, yeah, the plants are going to live.
I know.
And then it stopped. And then it was scorching hot. I got in my car, it was 100 degrees, and it was so hot that the instruments in my car didn't work.
And you know what? Your phone doesn't like it either.
No.
Yeah, and I got to put it next to the air conditioning. So yeah, I know California's getting a bad rap these days, but honestly, if you do have money, the weather's worth it. I'm telling you, because it's. I used to say, oh, it doesn't matter, but I love Texas. But honestly, that's why I'm so white, because I don't go outside. I mean, it's just too hot. And this is going to segue into what we have a guest on. She's having technical difficulties. So we're going to push on. And then when she gets on, we'll pop her in and we'll start speaking with her. It's Catherine Shapiro.
But you know what I want to do, though? What I want to do is I want to talk about, before we get to the pop-ups, I want to get into your creative conversation.
Oh, yes. She's always promoting me. I love it.
I know. And I do. Somebody has to. Anyway, because she's always promoting everybody else. So it's my turn to spoil her. Now, everybody knows that Jen does the commercials for all the vendors. And she loves, like the one I use for my show, is hers, and I love it as an intro and also exit on my show. So I said, Jenny, let me make yours for the creative correction. She goes, okay. I'm right here thinking, okay, I got to do as good as she does. I went and
No pressure. No
I
pressure.
spent a whole day doing it, and I'm like, I hope she likes it because I even made her into a cartoon. So if she ever wanted
Did, and I like it. I like it.
just like her. And I said, okay, so that's her trying to get on. Oh,
There
here
we
she is.
see her.
You see her, yeah.
Move your
Okay,
camera down, Kat.
bring your camera down a little.
There you.
Well, no, not sideways. Bring it, turn the camera. Hold on, let me bring you on. Okay, right there.
Yeah, you got it. Don't do anything.
All right, don't do anything. Here we go. Okay, so before we bring her on, okay, I want to stay there, Catherine. Just stay there. Don't move. Okay, so before we bring her on, I want to show the commercial that I kindly created for my wifey friend. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, Catherine, and in these commercials, I'll go ahead and try to bring her on. So,
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
From handmade treasures to heart chats, there's one place where every crafter's story comes to life. It's real talk, it's big laughs, it's pure inspiration, straight from the creative heart of America. Everybody has a creative spark. I just love helping it shine. From resin art to woodworking, textiles to paper crafts, no craft is off the table. Whether you're a maker, a fan of all things DIY, or just love real conversations with real people who create from the heart, Creative Conversations is your new favorite place to hang out. Join Jenny Dial every week on Creative Conversations, where crafts and creativity meet good old-fashioned conversation. Watch us on Roku TV, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
Pretty cute.
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Kat, how are you?
Hey, I'm here. What do you know? This is amazing.
Finally. So everybody knows Catherine. She's one of the OGs from way back when. I think I started on her radio first coming on. Then Jenny
Sure
and I
did.
her. Yep. And then I don't know if the famous episode with about 10,000 views. That one, the one with the wall falling on my head, she was on that one too.
She was on that one.
Oh,
too.
the background fall down. Yep, I remember that.
So we had a great time, and she's been doing new things. She's been steady on the channel. You can see her on all the stuff because I be putting her all over the place. And so you get to see her on every week in her slots. So before we get to you, Catherine,
Yes,
Jenny,
ma'am.
how do you feel like I mean, it was my first attempt. That's all I gotta say.
I like it. So people are going, well, what the heck is Creative Conversations?
Right.
Why is Jenny doing this? So what happened was we're always looking for new content and new things to bring to our show. And I actually created a product.
Yep.
And I totally messed up so badly on certain things. And as I was messing up badly, I thought this would be a great show because we're always trying to get crafters on to show how they do their processes. We think that's a great thing. So that's how it came about. And now I'm looking for other people to talk with me, walk with me, show me what they've got. It's not going to, as everything with me, it's not going to be like a template thing. We're going to try to do different things, but we want to talk with crafters. We want to talk with people who are creating, and I'm going to bring that to you. So if I don't have anybody, I have things in my head that I'm thinking about talking with y'all about, bringing people who have written books, bringing people who write music, bringing people who we're going to talk a little about pop-ups too, but food is a huge thing for pop-ups. It's a huge part of going into a pop-up. And they bring in the crowds for people who are doing the crafts.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd talk to a few of those as well, because they're amazingly creative with their business. So that's how it came about. And then Jeanette made me that adorable little commercial. And you can see creative conversations on the Creative Spirit channel. And that's how it just
boomed. It just happened,
happened. It was
Is
Funny how all these things just happen.
sometimes it just things happen.
They do. What is it? The best things happen while you're crafting instead of dancing. See, Catherine, you're too young, Jeanette. You don't know that song, but best things happen while you're dancing. Danny Kaye. So now we got to say the best things happen while you're crafting.
So, Catherine, what's been new in your world?
Well, a lot of things, really. I actually decided to add a few more features to the show inside Creative Space. And for those of you that don't know, I usually drop new episodes every Thursday at 4 o'clock. And it's absolutely fabulous. What we do is we focus on the creative process, visual artists, theater, actors, musicians, all sorts of things, mainly on the creative process and how, if you feel you are artistic and you want to get started, that's what you do.
Isn't that what it's all about, Catherine? Is to get that one first step and just start. Even if it's
the hardest part.
Lump of clay you have, it'll blossom.
There's something in it that'll come out. That's what Michelangelo used to say. That's what all sculptors say to one degree or another. Art is inside every single one of us, and it just has to come out. Yep. And it will.
Yep.
I've had musicians on the show. I've had magicians. Actually, he was what they call a creative magician, in that he created new magic tricks for other people.
Oh, that's they're doing so many more amazing magic tricks than they used to. Some of the stuff I'm seeing, I'm like, come on, like they're not just sawing women in half anymore.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is. It's become a whole genre of theater. It really has.
It's so cool.
So I have invited a couple of magicians. My friend Damien the Illusionist used to work for the Magic Castle back in Los Angeles.
Wait, stop. If anybody doesn't know about the Magic Castle, it's a place in Hollywood. It looks just like an old time Victorian Queen Anne Gothic kind of thing, and I have been there several times. It is an amazing place. You can have dinner. They have a performance room, like an audience room, and then they have some side rooms where you can work with guys that do sleight of hand. You can work with guys that do different
magic, and all kinds of things.
If you walk into the foyer, it's like kind of like Disneyland. You walk into the wall and you say "Open Sesame," and the wall opens, and then you can go into. It's an amazing place. If you ever get to LA near the Hollywood Bowl, you should go make a reservation and go see the Magic Castle. So there's.
And by the way, one of the reasons I remembered the Magic Castle was because the Sun Princess on Princess Cruise Lines actually has, that's really amazing, called Spellbound. And it's part of the fun that you can have, the creative kinds of fun that you can have when you cruise. One of the things that I've discovered is there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do from a creative point of view when you travel. There's art classes, there's local art walks, there's guided tours, there's what they call the free museum thing during the summer, where a lot of museums where admission is free. Our counterparts over at WLRN have a member group during summer that gets flyers where you can go to a lot of museums here in the state of Florida for free with the flyer. So, if you're a mom or a dad or a creative person looking for something to do over the summer, check out your local museum.
Yes.
They have a lot of
they're all air-conditioned people, and they usually have a place to eat. You can have a little snack, and no matter what museum it is, they're always fun to go to.
And classes and all kinds of different things. A lot of times what the students will do is they'll exhibit after a class with the works that they did, and you can buy and sell them. You can get yourself into a local museum, into the gift shop a lot of times that way. It's really a great way to get your work seen and get an idea of what's out there in the neighborhood. There's some really good artist guilds here too.
So Catherine,
there's the Broward.
Are you actually still painting, or are you just
Yes. Yeah, I do. I try very hard to keep my hand in, just because you got to have some street cred, which I do. I sold my very first photograph back in 2013, and as it turns out, it was a landscape. And what I always do is take the camera, go on an early morning walk, and I guarantee you will find something to take a picture of. And it turned out that I had a big, we were away on vacation at the beach, and I saw this rainbow after a storm, and I start snapping pictures like a mad person, right? And when I got back to our room, I asked my husband, I said, what do you think we got here? And we looked it up, and we looked at my phone, and it turned out I had an absolutely gorgeous photo that now, actually, that one entry place to the beach does not exist anymore. It happened to be on Sanibel Island before Hurricane Ian.
Got a historical type of photo now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are all kinds of ways that you can create terrific, iconic, even strange and interesting things, and you may not know what you got at first. That's the other thing that people have in common when it comes to creative things. Sometimes you get a dream. Sometimes you get an impulse. Sometimes you just get a thought in the shower, even. An urge. Pay attention. Pay attention to those, because I guarantee you they will turn into something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It happens automatically. You don't even have to plan it.
You really don't, but sometimes it helps. What you have to do is give yourself time for it.
But don't you think that there's people out there, and I hear it all the time, they'll say, well, I don't really have, like, I'm not creative, or I don't really have an artistic ability. And the problem is that somebody else's work, instead of, like, no matter really what you do, there's a creative aspect to what you do. I would say even an accountant, I know I'm stretching it here, guys, but there are some people that are really rigid, but there's some people that have, they add flair, they add a way of doing their work. It's a different way. So it's kind of got a creative aspect.
Or they improve a system, or they rebuild a tool, or they tweak a process. This is the kind of thing that people in information technology do all the time. They tweak processes. They get people in touch with their customers. They do crowd control. IT and AI do a lot of things now that we've not even imagined doing yet. And yet they're an integral part of our lives all the time. We just don't see it.
See, Jeanette and I have a, I don't know what we have a standoff on AI. I'm not, she embraces it more than I do, but the thing people aren't getting about AI is there still has to be somebody with the idea behind it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
So,
correct.
so that
And anybody,
the computer can think of, like, if you say, I want to create a blue flower against a pink sky with grass all around, right? It
Right.
has to be
Mhm.
told that.
Yeah.
So
You
right,
literally
yeah,
have to tell it. It's not like you just, tell it to write this and create the pictures to, no, you gotta,
it's called a prompt, is what
yeah,
they do. They give
I
you a
still,
prompt.
I'm still not there the whole way. I guess I
Oh,
better.
no, I totally understand.
well,
My husband's not all there either, and he's in IT. So I think part of the difficulty is that what we're creating, and people don't understand this. I think you're trying to create a human mind. That's basically what you're doing.
yeah.
You're trying to say,
The human
okay, let's
is
give
different.
this machine the same kind of knowledge that a human has. And some of that just isn't possible because, like you say, sometimes the neurons click in a way that computers don't, and they get something that's entirely different than what a computer would actually come up with.
See, the human brain has perspective, which a computer
Mm.
doesn't. They have perspective
And the experience.
in a way of measuring, like, when you do a drawing, I'm
Mhm.
my background right now, if I was doing this in a drawing when I used to draw in design school, so you can
Right.
see a perspective. So right now everything kind of goes linear to the middle. That's how you see my bookcases and everything to the middle. So a computer can
Mhm.
do that, but the perspective that we put on a project,
Right.
what I bring to that from my experience and my background and my knowledge, what
Mhm.
you bring to your paintings, what Jeanette brings to her clocks,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you could feed AI. Okay, I want a clock that looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it, but it wouldn't have the same level of experience and
Yeah.
difference.
And it's so funny that we're talking about this. I just got, this is the Maze Entrepreneur magazine, and I can tell you right now, the first thing it says, team up with AI, the best way to team up with it. For people who are having skeptical solutions on it, they
Mm.
are having difficulty accepting it or whatever, and they're having, look at this hand with the robot, and I'm like, that's spooky to me. That's a little spooky. I don't want to be friends.
What's spooky about that is that it is human to the extent that it may be doing a job that a human did years and years and years and years ago. And by the way, lost a few fingers doing it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know why? So they have these little robot dogs now, and
Mhm.
and
Those are
they
cute.
use them for security. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a
Right.
big warehouse and you don't really want to have a dog, but it roams around, looks just like a dog, and so the
Right.
guy that was doing it cut the legs out from underneath it, and the dog fell. So I'm feeling sorry for this. It's a computer because it
You
looks
know,
like a dog.
there's a word to that. There's actually a word to that. It's called anthropomorphizing.
Oh, well, that's me, because I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
don't be
that's me
messing
too.
with the dog. And then my husband goes, it's a machine. I'm like, but he just cut the legs out from a dog, and the dog falls, and it's all like,
See, the thing about it is this: if you are unkind to machinery, how much less kind are you to people?
I get it. But they used to make machines that don't look like us or don't
No,
look
they were
like
just real
things.
robot things.
They
Like,
were
Right.
machines.
here's
Absolutely, those were called automatons.
Yeah, I mean the
here.
They were set up to do certain tasks, right? Yeah.
Well, this is
So,
an example of a machine, what it should look like. It's basically a boombox of, I like the improvement of a big giant boombox that we had before. I connect the AI internet to this, and it does everything. It's loud. Like if I had a giant stereo in the house. So this I can deal with. No, give me that, but don't give me something that looks human or pet, because we're gonna have issues.
I know exactly what you mean. And honestly, I totally understand that. You know, what we have to understand is the way we interact with people does not match the way we interact with a machine. And it doesn't match how an artist interacts with a paintbrush or a pen or a pencil either. Those are tools. And we use those tools all the time.
Do you all find that when you look at an AI picture, and then you look at a picture or painting, and one that looks like a painting from AI and one that is generated by a person, as an artist, I can automatically tell, as good as it is, that was not done by a human hand.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you probably can. But then again, you know, but yeah, I mean, you probably can tell.
Yeah, we can tell. And the only reason why I think we're bringing this up is because we have David Point, and he tells the AI what he wants. He says, I want a forest with a big phoenix in the front. But what I like about him, yes, the AI will put it on paper. He then takes it, the iron-on, puts it on canvas, right? Then after he puts it on the canvas, then he takes his beautiful yarn and starts going over it, and that's his art. But he had to tell it he wanted. Not everybody has to be, right? What is that, Jenny? Mechanical?
Yeah, I think
this is.
I think the trick.
That's the dog. Bring it down a little.
Yeah, let me hold on. Let me show you. I just wanted to show everybody what I'm talking about. And it's different. It's standing still right now, but if you see it move,
it walks like a dog.
If you feel bad because they want to show how it gets up by itself, so they'll knock the legs out of it for it to come up. And they do the same thing with a regular robot. Like they'll have a robot and they're saying, give the robot to sweep or give the robot to put the dishes away. And then some guy will go behind and hit it in the head and knock the robot over. And I'm like, dude, don't do that.
Yeah.
There has been a question about this for a really long time, right? What makes a human and what makes something else?
Originally, this was created very small in the original for people who had allergy to dogs, but they wanted a dog. So they created this little robot. And if you've seen it before, remember it used to go, ow, 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 ow. Remember that one? It used to be,
yep, I do.
I remember he used to walk and then walk and then, you know, and then all of a sudden somebody with genius brain decided to make this, which takes away, unless you're literally gonna put skin on that and have it go ears, and that's where seamstress come in and fill it up and do all of that to make it look like a dog. I don't see the purpose of it, because I don't think a dog looks like that.
There may be purpose in the sense that it does a task for a human being, like a service dog can do.
So it's replacing a service dog, and it's a robot, and that's what I don't like. I'd rather have my dog that has a heartbeat, is warm.
Oh, I know, absolutely. I totally get it.
I think for this is because, first of all, dogs can get hurt as well, but these do it's kind of like a Roomba. It cracks me up. Like the Roomba scares my dog. I can't have one because it scares my dog. I've seen dads actually like put their kid on top of a Roomba and it's hysterical.
Oh, that's funny. I know. I've seen people chase it too.
I know some dogs that sit on top of it. They're like, if they like it, they like it.
But
remember, there's two things that we didn't believe anybody but us could do. One of them is learn, and the other is create.
Yep.
Now, the reason that this scares people is because it appears they can't, but it appears as if the AI entity, whatever you want to call it, can create and learn. It can't. It is told where to go and what to do when it comes to learning. And all
Right.
it does is gobble up stuff. It
Right.
doesn't contextualize it. It doesn't,
But
you
here's
know.
something for you. I don't know if you've seen them on Facebook, but I absolutely sometimes like it. They had these AI creators have gotten really good with it, and they create imaginary angels. Like, I don't know if you've seen all the stars like Brad Pitt, Sylvester Stallone, and all these on these angels,
Mhm.
and they're saying Raphael, you know, and all that. And then the other ones with the animals and the sexy animals with the big built
Right.
with the women or the man walking down a roadway, like if they're walking the red carpet. It kills
Right.
me. I laugh and I look at it and I'm like, now I can imagine a fantasy world of a game being built
Yeah.
like that because somebody's imagining this
They're
thing.
built that way all the time.
Have
And
y'all
in
seen
fact,
babies?
The baby.
yeah, that's where all this processing comes in real is gaming.
But this is how much people are not paying attention. I read the comments. Okay, I want to read the comments, and somebody actually said, "Is this real?"
Because
I
they don't
Well, that's the other thing we've kind of lost as human beings is the ability to discriminate
and
between
discern.
what's right. Because there are times when unreality is completely appropriate. When you're, they call it a suspension of disbelief, where you're watching a movie and you go, oh, you're involved in the movie and something breaks you out of it and says, that couldn't happen,
Well, our senses of it's funny how our mind actually can cope and work. And when people are in really awful situations, you say, how could they have lived that way for so long? Or the human brain is just the ability to
It's
adapt
adaptable.
and
It's extraordinary.
things. And so I think what people are afraid of is because we've already had these movies in advance, like we've had all of the AI before that they showed.
Movies do it
Like
first.
this is Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Data in the advanced Star Trek is an android.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to mention that. It's funny how great minds think alike, don't they?
Yeah.
That's already existing in Japan, where you go in and you think you're talking to a human and it's a robot because it's only half built. And she's talking, hi, welcome to so-and-so. How can I help you today? And I'm like, what the heck? It's already there.
The thing with Data was that they were debating the fact that he's basically a created machine.
Right, created
And what
by
are you doing when you create a machine? You create a race of slaves
Yes.
to basically do your bidding, don't you?
It's kind of crazy because I can go left with this real quickly. But before we go left, let me show some commercials on, and we'll be right back with the rest of this talk that just started and spiraling.
Realize it, but you know what? We just got off on
That's
AI.
me spiraling out of control.
You know what? I hope people that see this has comments because we want to know. I want to talk to somebody young that does really AI and see what they really think about it. But let me just go and come. We'll be right back, Bo.
Cool.
Buying a home is an exciting time. Your home will be the most important and consequential purchase you'll ever make. But the process can be confusing and overwhelming. You've found the perfect house and done the due diligence to make sure the house is in great shape. But when it comes to ensuring your property is protected from any unforeseen conditions, are you able to see the whole picture? So before you sign your closing documents, or you're handed the keys to the front door, get peace of mind with Ace Solutions Title Group and know you and your property are protected. Make sure the title company that you use is the best in the business to ensure your home is researched and recorded in your name. Ace Solutions Title Group is the best in the business. Contact us today. We are family owned and operated. They will make your closing transaction smooth and seamless, with the highest priority of protecting the legal status of your home. Hassle-free, fully online closings. Professionalism and 20 years experience. Customer service is of the highest priority.
We offer title insurance and peace of mind, an extensive referral network for all things real estate, remote online notary services, and we are licensed in 5 states. Let us bring security and confidence into your home buying process. Ace Solutions Title Group. Contact us for more information. We look forward.
Stars are shining, ooh yeah. Feel the beat, feel the glow. Lost in your eyes, never letting go, letting go. Hearts together in the night. Hold me close, keep me tight. Floating high in the sky, just you and I, you and I. Eternal love, oh, eternal love, oh, eternal love, oh, eternal love, oh.
Welcome.
I love that. I didn't see your new commercial, Missy.
I know. I haven't seen it. I haven't put it yet. I know. Anyway.
So as we were watching these, I was thinking, what do you both think is the best thing that AI brings to creators? Catherine, you first.
I think what it brings is like a very new, very interesting tool that a lot of people can use in a lot of different ways. And remember the actors strike just last year, I guess it was last year. One of the key discussions they were having was about AI and how it could be used and how it couldn't be used. And I think if you build safeguards into something, you can at least have a hope of creating of it not doing something that you don't want it to do. But if we shut everything down and say, oh, we can't do that, without trying to at least figure out the many amazing ways that you can do something, all I say is don't close down the effort before it starts. And I just have a feeling we are just getting started.
Miss Jeanette, what do you think?
Well, I even had to write mine down because it's helped me a lot. So mine is, it lets people do what they always wanted to do without the heavy cost.
This is true.
Okay, so that's the way I look at it. I always wanted to do cartoons. I didn't know how, and sometimes I'm still learning. But because now I'm able to use an AI to make exactly the figures and the exact what I tell it to do to make that scene, so I can make my storybook a cartoon. That's how I always wanted to do that. I just didn't know how, or I had to go to school and things like that, which is spending money to learn to be
Right.
to be able to go anywhere. It just gives a people opportunity to do things that they want to do, you know.
And
And
yeah, if
that's mainly it. It's just an opportunity where you don't have to spend $10,000 to pay someone to do something that you can't do, even though it's eliminating that person. But if I don't have that money and I still want to make money, and I know I can make this story because, oh my gosh, if I would have had this back in the 80s, I would have wrote a book that I wrote in my composition book a long time ago, and I called it The Day After. And The Day After was my first book for English class, and it was about teenagers surviving in the high school of culinary arts after a nuclear holocaust.
wow, girl, that's
It was
complicated for a kid. How fabulous.
I was that way in English. And my English teacher, Mr. Gordon, I still remember him. I wrote a book and a composition book, and he said, "Okay, this needs to be in the rated double R section because this is too hot for here." And I was like, "Okay." And
See, therein lies our problem. We
it's like,
already have in our universe right now
yeah,
people who are trying to censor us.
right. And here's
And
the thing, though. I love that my stories come from my journals. So when I'm able to look at it and I can picture it, and if I'm able to tell this, okay, I want you to do this, and I make sure that and be specific. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't. And when it
and if
doesn't,
it doesn't, you can fix it.
Okay,
right.
let me lay this on you.
Okay.
This is how I see this, and I see this in the realm of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
Everything normally used to have to go through several different people. Like if you were a writer, you couldn't get your book out because some other person was in charge. And if they didn't like your book, then you didn't get published. Okay.
Mhm.
If they didn't like your art, you didn't get published. Right
Mhm.
now, we are in the throes of individualism is becoming very big right now. It's become, you know, the big box stores, the big places that people go, the big malls, everything's getting deconstructed right now. Have y'all noticed that? Like the places
Mhm. A
you go to
lot of
shop,
things are
right?
definitely.
So you had to hook up with the mall in order to have your shop. The computers, the Intel businesses or are bringing individuality back to our lives. The cottage
Mhm.
industries. So to me, what AI does is Jeanette does her clocks. Catherine does her painting and her art. I do my books and my little tchotchke things and what we're doing. We're doing it as individuals. We get to make the choices. We get to say,
Mhm.
and AI helps that because if I can't do something, I can go to AI, I could go to Chat GPT, I can chat whatever they are and say, I want to make this or I want to do this. And it helps with that instead of going to another entity that's going to tell you what.
Yes.
You can't,
Like
the
here,
other person will tell you you can't do it.
Yep.
How
Yep.
many of us,
like here, a person would tell you that you can't do it either.
right? A person's going to say, Catherine, why are you bothering painting? Nobody's going to buy your painting, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But when we use it, in this way to help us move along,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it helps the individual get their legs up, get some support and some assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you try to take it to a bigger entity, they're going to say, I was told when I was younger, Jeanette, we were talking about this the other day. We were both dabbled in modeling when we were really young. I was too short. They just told me you're too short.
I'm short. If you were short,
Yeah,
I'm shorter.
exactly.
And
And
so
nowadays,
but
yeah,
back then it was all print. So if they wanted a long-legged woman on a lounge chair, I would look like a little kid because I didn't my feet, I'm 5'3" and they wanted a 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
But now you don't. It doesn't matter how old you are, what color you are, if you're tall or you're short. It doesn't matter. You can go with your individual skills.
right.
To me, if we make sure we have safeguards, which nothing is ever for
Completely.
sure, the
For sure.
individual entrepreneur and getting back to your entrepreneur magazine, that's why I think if you read the article, I haven't read the article, but I think that's what they're saying.
Oh, you got it too? You get it?
I didn't get it, but I'm just thinking that's what they're saying because it's the biggest thing to help entrepreneurs in a very long time, no matter what you're doing.
It does say that right in the heading. It says how to innovate faster and grow your business smarter.
Yeah.
Right.
They cut out the middleman.
It's a matter of not, it's a matter of not necessarily doing the same, taking the same route, but you get there just as well, if not better, because you've cut out some of the usual
the rigmarole
stuff. Right.
Because just like I use the AI to make my girl, because this is my story, the girl and her moon, but this is my story, how I was a little girl and I was praying for my room and how I had the light in me and I was always fighting these demons and things like that. So this is my story. Jenny came and said, this is a story. Like this, I need to put this. So she published it. So there goes to show you my dream came true and I didn't do no effort, but write from the heart from my journal. It was still mine because it's my story. But
of course,
the way I did it was I didn't have to pay anybody to draw my character because it was me. That's my little girl picture.
Exactly.
No one can be me and the little girl because that's me. So this is what I'm saying. It's making people do what they wanted to do for a long time. Now they can do it, but they still need that other person. Like Jenny would be my publisher, so she would my publisher.
Well, here's the thing. What people need to understand is that AI unit is drawing the information from somewhere.
Yeah.
And if they get it from an artist who originally created it, that artist should get paid.
Yes.
Something. Absolutely.
Well, I think
because I know we're striving for that too.
I think what we need to remember is if you can find a person to collaborate with, I'd love to see people continue to do that. I don't want to see everybody just take the shortcut and say, okay, I'm going to AI this because I don't want to, like when I do my books, I want it to be look a certain way.
As true a version of you as you possibly can.
If all possible. But if you can't, the creativity is still there because the creativity is up here.
Yeah, it's in our brain.
If you're not a creative person or you don't think you're a creative person, it's not because your hands, my phone's crazy, not because your hands won't do it, it's because your head doesn't think it.
Right.
And every single one of us have gotten into points where we don't feel creative that day. We're stressed, we're upset, we're thinking of other things. And if you say, Jenny, sit down and write something, I'm like, I got nothing. Like,
I know. That's what I mean when I say it has to be a daily or it has to be a very regular practice. I
Yeah.
remember saying to you guys once that you have to make an appointment for creativity. Well, you have to make an appointment and make the time to give yourself a little bit of space to either learn how to do what it is you want to do or help or have a different source help you,
Yep.
whether it's an AI or a person or a company who does that sort of thing, or
Right.
somebody you buy those little charms that you make your clocks with from,
Hmm.
Yep.
Now, here's the
right?
thing. If, let's say, a person can come off the wall with something that they want in a clock, and I can't find the picture. Usually I get my pictures from Google. Like if they want, let's say, something weird, something that doesn't exist, it hasn't been invented. And that's when I can go to ChatGPT. Okay, this is what I want, but I need you to
Right.
make it this big because it's gonna go into a little clock. And I can do it, but I still have to laminate that paper, then I have to cut it out, and then I have to still create the clock by hand. I need all my
Absolutely.
little images in there. So if the images, let's say she wants a fairy tale or whatever, and she wants it like people that write these books, like, okay, your son, Jenny, that he creates these characters, right? And he wants that
Mhm.
in a clock. I have to literally say, okay, either he could send me the pictures, but if he wanted this certain character, I would have to create it through AI so they can create it and make it small enough to put it in the clock. But this is how,
Mhm.
if you use it in collaboration to help you what you already know and do, it's
And want to do.
when you
Absolutely.
depend on it 100%, that's the problem.
You know what you need?
Mhm.
Mm?
A shrinky dink.
That's-
I remember those.
I think it
I
is
remember those
Oh,
shrinky dinks.
yeah.
not
Mhm.
funny.
It's
People
And
when
by
I
the way, which was originally taken from a sci-fi writer named Isaac Asimov.
really.
yeah, what
Yes.
you're gonna have to, Jenny, explain to people that don't know what a shrinky dink is.
So shrinky dink was a toy back in the day.
In
Um,
the
you could whatever you wanted, a picture of anything, you could cut it out, you could draw it, and it's on a piece of like plastic kind of thing, and you put it in this heater and it shrinks it up. And
Yep.
we had some weird toys. This is another show we could do. It's like the easy
Yeah.
oven. I
Look, if you're in the mood to Google, look up a book called Fantastic Voyage. It's a screen adaptation of the very same idea by Isaac Asimov, I believe is who it
That's
was.
funny.
yeah.
We had some weird toys though. Shrinky dinks. What did
It-
you do with them?
Yeah,
I had little wads of plastic all over.
I used to
What
get
about the ones you used to put in water? You know, where you put them in like water and they'd start moving around, those little things.
I know we had the
oh, they still have it in the Dollar Tree. They're this small. They come in a pill, and you throw the pill.
Oh, yeah.
and they blossom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Are-
It's just the wildest thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
are seahorses real?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
absolutely are.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
seen
positive
them.
they are. Yeah.
Because I
Man,
was never
I've been scuba diving and I've seen them.
okay.
Yeah.
Seahorses.
They're real.
We had that toy too, but we had some weird. Look, we played with slinkies. Like
Sling. I used to
my grandkids are playing with IT stuff, like they're creating stuff. We had slinkies
and
and
just to knock it down the stairs,
get up the stairs.
and then chase it down,
Oh, yeah.
pick it back up, go up the stairs to watch it go back down the stairs. We are some
I got
serious.
2 words for you guys: Lego Masters.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Legos. Oh my gosh, my son played with them. I told him, I said, you have enough Legos to build your mother another room on this house. Seriously. And it cost this
Yeah.
much. There was a young guy that I met in my travels of signing. I never heard of this business before. This is a creative thinker. He had a ton of these Lego expensive ones, like the ones that are $300, like the giant Millennial Falcon and all those ones.
Right.
he rented these out to people.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And they put the thing together and they took a picture of it and then they put the pieces back and they sent it to him back. I don't know how it went because, you know, he had a bunch of spare, you know, Lego parts, but because they're really expensive and people wanted to see if they could do it, but they didn't want to keep them. They just wanted to put them together. So
I hear
that's
you totally.
mind.
You know, there was an exhibitor of an artist in Miami that did art from Lego pieces. I mean, his own original art, not the sets. He did all kinds of original art pieces from that, sculptures. And
This is why we're going to probably, and I can see Jeanette looking at it, but I will tell you that AI is great, but as long as human beings exist, there's always going to be some very cool ideas because our brains.
I know we got to go because we're on a time limit here, and I got to say this word of the day because I think this is a good thing. But here's the thing. I every time we talk about AI, I think of the Terminator. I don't know why.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Okay, today's word of the day comes from day 227. Let your light shine along with everything else, okay? Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may use your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Matthew 5:26. So it comes to show that what I get from that is let your light shine. We're creative people, okay? Before back all of this, and I'm talking about, I don't care how Jenny thinks I'm younger than her, I'm there with her. I am from the 70s child. You know, I am a love child from the 1960s. And, you know, the 70s was my day of playing all these games. And, you know, you have to, you had to do everything back in the day. I feel sorry if we ever get to the time where all the electronics just die, because these kids would just don't know what to do. They will be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to go play. Oh my God. They're going to lose it. Okay. And they're going to look at us generation and say, yeah, that generation X, they really know what, you know, what they're doing right here. You know, what do we call what century? 1960 something. What do we call Generation X? Are we?
It depends on your age. Yeah.
The generation X,
65 up to 65, I think is
the baby boomers.
Baby boomers.
Yeah, I'm on the very edge of a baby boomer thing.
Yeah, they're gonna be looking at the baby boomer and say, "Can you help me plant so I can eat?" Okay. So that's what I'm looking.
Here's the thing. Disney once said that Walt Disney, the good old Mickey Mouse guy, once said that you need to learn how to do your business well enough that people come to you to ask you how you did it.
Yep.
And on that note, Catherine, that's an excellent way to end it. Thank you.
We're going to end it. I'll show my commercial that came out.
There we go.
And then
you go, girl.
All right,
thank you, everyone, for being with us again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again. And we will
always a pleasure. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Absolutely, anytime. It's been fun, you guys. You take care now.
Okay.
Have a good day, everybody.